Hey guys, welcome back to the GDevelop beginner series. We're making a small platform game, and in this video we're going to be looking at creating a simple enemy AI. He is going to be able to move backwards and forwards, but he's also going to be able to jump onto different platforms. So this is a little bit about level design, and it's a little bit about a kind of a problem-solving process. So I thought about how we could do this and actually have the enemy jump, because we could have the enemy just walk between 2 points, really simple like we've got, and he is going to do that, but we're also going to make him jump. It took me a while to figure this out and kind of think through a few different ways we could do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new object, search the asset store. I'm going to look for top arrow round. I don't want that one, I want that one, it's a bit easier to see. I'm going to add this to the game. So we'll use that one, and I'm going to also add an enemy. So let's just get this little walking enemy down here, add him to the game, and we are going to modify this. So we're going to double click on it. We're actually going to remove this animation. These animations that come built in are a little bit glitched, and we're just going to remove it and just use that as our enemy. I'm going to go to behaviors, add a behavior, and we're going to add a platform character behavior, but we're going to turn off the default controls. Okay, we don't want the player who's actually playing it to be able to control this enemy, so we turn those default controls off. Now I'm just going to quickly do a little bit of level design here, I guess, and this will do. So what I'm going to do here is I'll have to play around with this level design a bit. I'm also going to I'll delete that actually. That might be good enough for what I need. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I might make these a little bit smaller. They are quite big. I can make them that size, and they'll still work. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go into the events for this, and in the events I'm going to add a new group. It's going to be called enemy movement. And then I'm going to start adding a few sub-events. Now the first sub-event is going to be when the enemy is colliding with the left arrow. I'll add another sub-event when the enemy is colliding with the right arrow. And lastly, add another sub-event when the enemy is colliding with the up arrow. Where's the collision gone? There it is, with the up arrow. Okay, so I've got these 3 major events here. And I also want to make sure add a condition here that the enemy can jump. Not is jumping, can jump. So that when it collides with this top arrow button, which I'll put in now, I'm going to put one of these in, I'll make it quite small. I want him to jump. Okay, I want him to jump here. I want him to jump here, but kind of in the middle, so I'll hold Alt to position that there. And I want him to jump. It's weird, why won't it let me make a duplicate here? Now these are going to signal to the enemy AI when to jump, and then we're going to make it jump. Now I'm going to need another one of these for over here so that he bounces back that way. Hopefully this one doesn't trigger it, it should just trigger that. We need to do one more thing to our enemy, which is actually add an object variable, and it's going to be the same as the blade. It's going to be called facing. So we'll click apply. I didn't actually set an initial variable, so we'll set him starting to the right, and I'll put my enemy in the scene. I'll put him here. Now I'm going to need 2 more of these top arrow buttons. One's going to be there, and one's going to be there. So this should trigger him to jump, hopefully over that, and not land on it, but we'll see what happens. We may have to put them there and there, but I'll play around with them. So these are kind of signals that are going to, or events that are going to happen in the game. When it collides with that, we're going to tell it to jump. So if we go back to here, we've got all of these things. We just need to put this thing in here as well for the enemy. So let's go ahead and do that. Add a sub event. add a condition, the variable of facing is equal to 0. And I'll just duplicate this one, copy and add new sub event and paste that in there. Change that to 1. All right, our actions. Our actions are pretty straightforward for this. If the variable facing a walking enemy equals 1, we are going to go to here and simulate the left press key. Okay, so we're going to simulate a left key press. And similarly for this one, we're going to simulate a right key press. So this is as though the player or someone was doing this stuff. Okay, and then was pushing the left key or the right key. And then this one, we're going to simulate a jump key. So it's as though when they collide with that top arrow button and they can jump, so it means they're on the ground, they don't collide with it again, then they jump. It'll do the platform control for jump. This one is going to be very similar. We're going to say when they touch the left key, we're going to set a variable to facing is going to equal 1, set to 1. Yep, and then I'll copy that and paste it there and set that to 0. Okay, now if everything has gone right, I should have a walking enemy that does some jumping. Oh, he's gone off the side of the screen. Why has he gone off the side of the screen? Left arrow facing 1, right arrow set to 0. He didn't jump over it, so let's just see again what may have happened. We'll kind of walk to the right at the start. Ooh, he just walked straight off the edge there. Collision with left arrow button. Yep, change the variable facing, set to 1. When it's equal to 1, simulate key press right. When it's equal to left, simulate key press left. Oh, that's what I've done wrong. I've got these around the wrong way. So I'll just change these. So that should be 1 and that should be 0. Oops, he didn't jump high enough there. So he didn't jump high enough. I may need to move that so it's in the same location as that one. Let's see. No, because he hits the arrow then. If I just do this, that should work. And he's coming back. Jumps, jumps, oh, jumps. Yep, there we go. He's jumping all over the place. And he's kind of found a path. Now, if I hide these, you'll see what happens if I hide them. Markers at the beginning of the game, action, top arrow button, hide. So I add that one in there, so they're just all being hidden. And then the enemy will look like he's actually being a little bit smart and jumping at different locations. Now, it's not the best. I could probably play around with the jump power of the enemy to make sure that he actually does do some jumping properly. But it's looking pretty good. I've got an enemy that actually moves and will go up and down platforms. Now, this is very reliant on your level design, okay, because the enemy's not actually seeing a drop ahead of it. It's just seeing, okay, it's time for me to jump. And so if you haven't designed it so it can jump properly, it's not going to.